Good morning, everyone. This is Lola Wrist with LolaWrist.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and let me pull this up on my Facebook or on my laptop, and I'll be right with you. It always takes a little bit of time to get everything connected once you're going. Okay, there we are. Good morning, Jonna. Nice to have you with us. Give me a second so I can get my comments going. It automatically, as soon as you open it up to the large screen, man, it just pops up the volume. Oh, Calvin is doing great. They came home yesterday, and hi, Tina. Nice to have you with us. They came home yesterday, but they have to go back to the Columbia today. It's so weird. I guess the babies have to go back 24 hours after they're dismissed from the hospital to see the pediatrician. And they said this has become the norm now. So here they've driven all the way home here so they can turn around and go back today for the doctor appointment and then turn around and come back, which makes it makes it very uncomfortable for the mother. But anyhow, that you do what you have to do. So we went to see him last night and took him dinner, and oh, he's beautiful. I don't know. That's every grandma, right? But Evan laughed. He said, "Mom, you got to remember, if you don't know Evan's not into babies. This is just huge because he is into Calvin. I mean, to tell you, Cal he's tight already. And he's not a baby person. But he said, everybody keeps saying he's so beautiful. The nurses keep saying, oh, he's so beautiful. He's so beautiful. Good morning, Ann. And he said, I'm like, yeah, it's a baby. And then he said, I was out looking, and one of the nurses had another baby, and I looked, and I came back to Rachel and said, you know what? He is beautiful. That one wasn't so pretty. So they don't say it to everybody. So, I'm like, yeah, he's already toast. He is. He's already toast. So anyhow, something happened. There they are. So guys, we're going to work this week with background stamps. How many of you have background stamps? Ann, Jonna, Tina, do you use them very often? Because if you're like me, I get them and then they sit there. And I don't really use them like I should. So this week, I want to concentrate on trying to figure out some ways that we can use our background stamps to make them actually usable instead of setting up and taking all the space on our table and our stamp shelf. Good morning, Doris. Nice to have you with us too. So I'm going to turn this over. So most of you, those of you that know, if you've been here before, I kind of stamp on the fly. So when I do my Facebook Live, I'm not really open to having all of my stuff done and before I do it. I'm going to do it right here. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I call it crafting on the fly. Okay. So first things first, just in case if you haven't seen it, Pam and I have started taking RSVPs for the Spring Craft Retreat. It will be on Saturday, March 4th, and it's the Lutheran Church. But just because we have it at the church doesn't mean it can't be virtual too, because I will do a Facebook page, private group page, and we will turn around and put all of the cards on there, all of our demonstrations on there, and we will send you all of the card kits. We have the 10 make and takes. We'll send you the pillows gifts, or little table gifts that they get and things like that. Only thing you don't get is the meal, because I can't send that to you in the mail. But what we do is we take the money that would have gone towards the meal if you were there live, and we use that money to ship so that you don't have to pay extra for the shipping. I am going to be using the Garden Bird Houses stamp set. So you would probably want that. If you don't have it, you need to pick it up either from me or from another demonstrator. And then we will be using the markers of Sweet Sorbet, Crumb Cake, Balmy Blue, Mint Macaron, and Petal Pink. Those will be our colors. Doesn't mean that you can't substitute and use them, what other ones you have. So this is a great deal, $40. You get all of the product. You're going to get a full bag of DSP, a full package, a full spool of ribbon, and a full package of gems. And the 10 make and takes. Everything is going to come to you. And you're going to have the Facebook group. But we need to have you registered by February 20th. So let us know if you're interested. Good morning, Margaret. Nice to have you from North Carolina. We love the Carolinas. We are going to be, and while I'm thinking about it, guys, we will not be here next week. Next week, we are trying to straighten this up. I can't handle crooked. We are going to Florida. We fly out Saturday for Orlando. We are heading to Disney World with our grandbaby daughters. Not our grandson yet, but our granddaughters. So we're going to start today with this tropical hideaway. I love it. I must love it because I have 2 of them in my stamping stash I just found. I went in and I was pulling out all of my big one background stamps. And if you've got your catalog, they are located, used to be they were the last things of the stamps, and now they're not. Now they threw a couple of extra stamps behind it, which I found tricky. But anyhow, they're here in the catalog on page 116 and 117. There are 3 new ones that are in the mini catalog, and most of them, we use them like for 1 or 2 things if we get it used, and then we don't use them anymore. I mean, we're really bad about this. I know I am, and I know other people are too. So that's my focus is today. This week, I want to try to make us use our background stamps. So today we're going to do Heat Embossing Resist. And we're going to use the Something Fancy stamp set for the greeting. And we're going to use it for the die as well. If you haven't got these, I love these dies. Why do I have 2 sets of these? Oh, because I did order 2 sets of these. I ordered 2 sets because when I have a class and Jim is running these, it's nice to have double when you're having to run, 50 of something. It's awesome to be able to have 2 and then not have to run them so much. So I do have 2 sets of those on purpose. Okay? All right, so let's get going here because we got a busy day ahead. Here we go. So we're going to start with Shaded Spruce. I don't use this color very often. In fact, I thought I had given all of my Shaded Spruce out, Jonna, to you, and I found 2 card pieces that are cut. Gosh, I hope they're 5.5. Yep, they are. And then we're going to use a piece of Parakeet Party, and we're going to use Basic White. And that will be our card, okay? Give me a second. I need to go open up a package of adhesive. Okay. So I am even being brave because I am switching over to this adhesive today. And we're going to go on ahead and we're going to come down with the adhesive. I have not used this adhesive very much. I like the Tombow Mono, but it's getting harder and harder to find refills for those in bulk amount. And so I am trying to be better about using my Stampin' Up adhesive. Okay, so you may wonder, what's going on here, Lola? You've got something cut out. I needed a little mat of this, and I didn't want to have to cut another scrap of paper. So, I can do that. I don't do that very often with color paper. I do that a lot with the foils. Anything that is an expensive piece of paper, utilize that and begin that middle, because look, you only see this little bit and there's nothing that's going to show. So think about, how can I utilize my paper better? Okay, so we're going to start with this piece here, all right? And we're going to start with our one block of F, which is like an extremely expensive block. You need one block. I have not been able to figure out a way to get around buying that block. You need the block, but you only need one of those blocks. I have a lot of the blocks, but I do not have two of these. You only need one, okay? All right, so I've got my stamped image here, and this is the Tropical Hideaway. I love all of the beautiful foliage. I love foliage. So in my garden, I have a lot of foliage. Don't need to have the blooms. I can do it with just the foliage. So I'm going to start first, and I'm going to put Versamark all over this. Some people use Versamark to condition their stamps. I've never done that. I don't know. I guess it's what you're used to. But I know there are people that they condition all of their stamps, and they use Versamark to first stamp it in ink. So I want to kind of make sure I've got it good coverage on all of it. Okay, looks pretty good. I don't see any place. Okay, so when it comes to using these stamps, you want, and make sure I got the right piece here, because this is a little smaller. You want to reverse it. Normally we stamp down onto the paper, but this time we're gonna go backwards. We're gonna stamp up, and then we're gonna use our hand. I laid my typing paper over it so that I got good area to press, because if I didn't, I'd have Versamark on my hand. Okay. All right. So there it is. And there's my image. Okay. All right. So we're going to take that. Looks good. And we're going to put white embossing paper, or white embossing powder on it. Oh, Pam, you would be so proud of me. Look at that. I poured a lot. All right. Make sure I've got it on all of it. Good. Okay, a little more here. All right. Okay, get rid of this. And let's get our heat going. It's kind of cool in here today, so it's gonna feel good. Oh, hold it. I want to do something. You can't see it, but I have an embossing powder there that I don't want to send up in the air. So let's get that lid at least on it. Okay, so it takes a little bit of time for the magic to occur. And it is hard to see with white on white. But it will pop when we do the resist of it. So I don't know if you can tell, but in the bottom corner here, it is starting to change over. First time I ever did this, it was like, oh my gosh, it's like magic. I love this stuff. I just don't do heat embossing a lot. Try not to burn my fingers. Okay. Move it around. Flip it to the other side. So I was trying to decide when we go to Disney World next week if I was going to try and post extra like we did when we went to Germany ahead of time. But we have some free time down there. We're not going with the kids every day to the park. Jim and I decided, been there, done that. We picked a couple of parks and we're going to be happy with that, and we're going to kick back at the resort. So I am going to take my computer. I might even take some craft supplies like paper pumpkins to work on. All right, let me make sure I've got everything done. Let me see. I know you really can't see with it being white on white, but let me see if there's anything not embossed right here. Right there. Make sure that the corner edges are. Now, I remember Linda Ellis, a friend of ours, had told me you can also heat from the back, and that way it doesn't scorch. I don't see any scorching going on, but she said you can start heating it up from the back to emboss, and that will also help to set it. Okay, I think we're good. Okay. I believe we're good. All right. So while this is cooling down just a hair, I'm going to show you the colors I'm going to use. You know, Jonna, I'm not very good with it either, but the more you do it, the better you do get, because you got to, you know, that's part of my problem is I didn't do it very often. So it's just like anything else, practice makes perfect. So I wanted all of these with the foliage to be green. So I'm going with Parakeet Party and Granny Apple Green, Garden Green, Shaded Spruce, and a touch of Evening Evergreen. And remember, my card itself was Shaded Spruce with the Parakeet. So I've just kind of got everything in that green family. So it's kind of monochromatic. All right. So we're going to start with our Parakeet Party. And let's stop for a second. This has got some powder residue. I want to make sure I get this. We'll fold it. Okay. So we're going to start with Parakeet Party. And I am not going to sit here and try to figure out what leaf I want to be dark green or light green. I'm just gonna add color. And I want splotches of color. I don't want big blocks of color. Okay? So I'm just splotching it in places. And I want that to be a little darker, so I'm just going to go back over those spots where I was at. Some of it will be dark, some will be light, okay? And then I'm going to switch colors. Because I'm doing all of these in green, I'm going to start with my light and go to my dark. Good morning, Doris. How are you today? You guys got a lot of snow. And I just heard Megan talking to her dad in St. Louis. She said they're supposed to get like 7 inches of snow tonight or tomorrow. Ugh. I don't think we're only supposed to have maybe 1 tomorrow. All right, so this is Granny Apple Green, and I'm just going to add color. This is one that doesn't have a lot of ink. I have one in there that's newer, and it has more ink in it. I've got to re-ink this one. So I'm just going to go in and add some Granny Apple Green. Okay. All right. Now we're going with Garden Green. A little bit of cleaning, but not much on my microfiber cloth because I'm just still going to keep the greens going. Ugh. I'm glad you guys have that snow. All right. So a little more green. All right. Got to be a little careful with these now the darker we get, because see, I got a big splotch of green right there. So not quite as much pressure on it. All right. Darkening those spots down. Okay. I want a little more right in here. And then let's go back and add shaded spruce now. I'll get some of this garden green off. You know, the microfiber cloths at the Dollar Tree work really good for things like this. Don't be using anything expensive like a microfiber Norwex or anything. My gosh. Keep it cheap. All right, and now we're coming in here with some of this, and we're going to come in and start overlapping the colors. The darker it is, the less pressure you need to put in here. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of go over all of it lightly. And I'm going to just come back. You are not so late, Linda. Although I did use your name. I did say something. I had just done a white embossing with heat embossing, Linda. And I told him you told us that we could emboss from under the paper to keep it from scorching. All right, so I'm going to use a touch of Evening Evergreen to deepen, and keep in mind, you don't want this heavy. So you're just kind of going in there and adding it on top of any place that has some open spot, any place that you want maybe a darker shadow. Okay. There's some here, needs a little more. Not a lot, just in places, a little bit. All right. I think we are in pretty good shape. It's gone fast, guys. Maybe some more right there. I want that white to really pop, so right here. I have a nail appointment today. Tal's going to say, what you do, Lola, with all that ink on your hands? Oh, well. All right. Okay, I'm going to stop. All right, so I've got my microfiber cloth, and I'm going to go on ahead now and give this a good clean. This is a smaller brush. I was really tickled they came out with the smaller brushes. I like the big ones, but I actually have a set from Amazon, and it has like 4 different sizes or 5, and I like a smaller brush. So I was really tickled when they came out with the smaller brush for a change. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to take my microfiber cloth, and I'm going to just go over this and start lifting that ink. Look at that, guys. Isn't that beautiful? Lifting the ink. And now I've used that background stamp, and look at what I've got. Look at the variety of this. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe my light is too bright, or it's my computer. Okay. Can you see that? It's beautiful. Let's take the light down one. Give me a minute. 1, 2, 3. 4 was pretty bright, so maybe down. All right. Make sure I've got all the ink off. And I love how that turned out. We're going to turn around and we're going to put that right on here. Oh, looks like a tropical hideaway right now to go to. And with all the snow that Doris, you got, with St. Louis coming down with snow, and it is supposed to be frigid this weekend here in Macon. Let's put some here because I want to make sure once you emboss, sometimes the embossing makes it the card stock curve, and I want it to really lay flat. Okay. Isn't that? Thank you, Mary. It is. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love that. And who would have thought that Evening Evergreen would actually bring out all those colors? But I think it just really brought that darker shade in just enough to really deepen everything down. All right, so now we're going to go with Shaded Spruce, and we're going to get a greeting on here. And I have my inside page. Let me see what it says. It says, may the good that you do come back to you. I have a gentleman that brought us for Christmas at our church. He brought us honey that he makes. He makes honey. Well, he doesn't make it. He has his hives, and the hives, he takes care of the beehives, and they made the honey. And they're wonderful. It's wonderful. Decker Farms honey. And he brought me a jar a couple weeks ago for Christmas. He said, you're a hard lady to be here at church. He said, you're hard to catch up with. So anyhow, you know, guys, if you come to my house and I bring out the Decker honey, you're up there. You are ranked way up there, because even with my kids, I don't always give them the Decker honey. They don't appreciate it. So I have another one. Remember that green? I had that parakeet party, and I had that under here, and I'm going to take it, and instead of going this way, those of you at bingo, we were doing a vertical cut. We're just going to do the horizontal one for a little variety. Okay. And I'm going to turn my label over and put this on here. And we're not too far from being done, because I have an appointment and I have a card class to set up for, and I am not packed completely up. Okay, so all week we're going to be doing, and I don't have dimensionals. Oh, well, that's okay. I'm not going to put it down, guys. I'm just going to stick it down here on this bottom, in the bottom half. I want to let all of that show. So this is a simple card, and I will go back when we're finished, and I will put dimensionals on it, and I will finish it. But right now, this is going to be it. But we are going to play with background stamps. And I have several of them. I want to do the Joseph's coat. Yes, it was a great Kansas City win. It was indeed. Okay. And I tell you, there towards the end, they played the Garth Brooks songs, Friends in Low Places. And when they play that, the whole stadium is singing. Everybody, but I'm pretty sure the Jaguar fans were not singing with us that day. But it is quite something to hear 60-some thousand people, because I'm going to give the Jaguars maybe 20,000. I don't know that they did, but anyhow, it's worth listening to them. And it was fun. It was fun. So there's my card, guys. There's my card. It's going to be background. This one is Heat Embossing Resist. We're going to be playing with backgrounds. The Joseph's Coat is coming out this one more time this week because I want to do it with one of these cards. We're just going to add to it, and we're going to make us use these background stamps. Another one I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the background stamps for dies. Only the stamp, you'll not even recognize it by the time we're done. All right, take care. God bless. Have a great day. Thank you for being with me, guys. I appreciate it. See you later. Bye-bye.